Download this code from codegive.com, link in the description below. OK, let's craft a comprehensive guide to debugging fastapi applications using VS Code, complete with code examples and explanations. Debugging fastapi applications made easy in VS Code. Fastapi is a modern, high-performance web framework for building APIs with Python. Debugging fastapi applications can be streamlined using Visual Studio Code, VS Code, and its powerful debugging capabilities. This tutorial will walk you through setting up VS Code for debugging fastapi, covering common scenarios and best practices. Prerequisites *** Python *** Make sure you have Python installed, version 3.7 plus recommended. *VS Code * Install Visual Studio Code from https://code.visualstudio.com/ https://code.visualstudio.com Python extension for VS Code * Install the official Microsoft Python extension in VS Code, search for Python in the extensions marketplace. *Fastapi * Install fastapi and uvicorn. 1. Setting up a sample fastapi application. Let's create a simple fastapi application for demonstration. Explanation *** fastapi * creates a fastapi application instance. * base model, from pedantic defines the data model, item, for request and response bodies. Pedantic handles data validation and serialization. *at app-get, at app-put, at app-post *. These decorators define API endpoints and their corresponding HTTP methods, get, put, post. *read_item, item_ID, str, *a get endpoint that retrieves an item by its ID. It raises an HTTP exception if the item is not found. *update_item, item_ID, str, item, a put endpoint to update an existing item. It takes an item_ID and an item object as input. *create_item, item, a post endpoint to create a new item. It takes an item object as input and returns the new item's ID. *if _name_name ==main__colon**. This block runs the uvicorn server when the script is executed directly. It's not necessary for debugging when using the VS Code debugger. In production, you'd typically run uvicorn separately. 2. Creating a launch configuration in VS Code. VS Code uses launch configurations to define how to start and debug an application. Create a .vscode folder in the root of your project, if it doesn't already exist. Inside the .vscode folder, create a file named launch.json. Here's a launch.json configuration that works well for debugging fastapi with uvicorn. Explanation of launch.json fields ***. Version *** the VS Code launch configuration version. Configurations *** an array of launch configurations. You can have multiple configurations for different debugging scenarios. Name *** a descriptive name for the configuration, example Python, fastapi. Type ** the type of debugger to use, Python for Python debugging. Request * whether to launch a new process or attach to an existing one. We use launch here. Module * the Python module to execute, uvicorn in this case, since we're using uvicorn to run the fastapi app. *args * an array of arguments passed to the uvicorn command. *main app tells uvicorn to load the app object from the main.py file. Change main if your main application file is named differently. *host 0.0.0.0 specifies the host. 0.0.0.0 means listen on all interfaces. *port 8000 specifies the port. *reload enables automatic reloading of the server when code changes are detected. This is very useful during development. Important * do not use -reload in production. *log level, debug, sets the logging level to debug to show more details in the console. *Jinjia *true enable debugging Jinjia templates. *just my code *false if set to true, the debugger will only step into your own code and skip library code. Set to false to allow debugging inside libraries. 3. Debugging with VS Code. 1. Set breakpoints *open main.py and click in the left gutter, the area to the left of the line numbers, to set breakpoints on the lines you want to examine during execution. For example, set a breakpoint on the line return items item_id inside the read_item function. 2. Start debugging * in VS Code, go to the Run and Debug view, Ctrl+Shift+D or CMD+Shift+D. Select the Python, fastapi configuration from the drop-down and click the Start Debugging button, the green play button. 3. Make an API request * use a tool like curl, Postman, or a browser to make a request to your fastapi endpoint. For example, 4. Inspect variables and execution * when the breakpoint is hit, the debugger will pause execution. You can inspect variables * use the variables panel to examine the values of variables in the current scope, example item_id, items. Step through code * use the debugging controls, step over, step into, step out, to move through the code line by line. Evaluate expressions * use the debug console to evaluate Python expressions in the current context. Call stack * the call stack panel shows the sequence of function calls that led to the current breakpoint. 4. Common debugging scenarios. Debugging request body validation *. If you have issues with request body validation, example pedantic validation errors, set a breakpoint at the beginning of your endpoint function. Inspect the item variable, the pedantic model, to see the values that were passed in the request. Pedantic errors are usually very descriptive, so examine the output carefully. Debugging exception handling *. fastapi uses standard Python exception handling. You can set breakpoints inside try, except blocks to debug how exceptions are being caught and handled. Also, remember that fastapi's HTTP exception is a convenient way to return error responses with specific status codes and details. Debugging asynchronous code *. fastapi is built on Asyncio. When debugging asynchronous code, keep in mind that the execution flow might not be strictly linear. Use breakpoints to follow the execution path and understand how coroutines are being scheduled and awaited. The VS Code debugger can step through await statements. Debugging middleware *. If you have custom middleware in your fastapi application, set breakpoints inside your middleware functions to inspect the request and response objects. This can be helpful for debugging authentication, logging, or other request processing logic. Debugging startup events *. fastapi allows you to define startup and shutdown events that are executed when the application starts or stops. To debug these, set breakpoints inside your event handler functions. 5. Advanced debugging techniques. Conditional breakpoints. You can set breakpoints that only trigger when a specific condition is met. Right-click on the breakpoint in the gutter and select Edit Breakpoint. Enter a Python expression that evaluates to true when you want the breakpoint to trigger. For example, item_id == foo would only trigger the breakpoint when the item_id variable is equal to foo. *logpoints*. Logpoints allow you to print messages to the debug console without pausing execution. This can be useful for logging information without interrupting the flow of your application. Right-click in the gutter and select Add Logpoint. Enter the message you want to log, including any variable values you want to display. Attach to a running process. Instead of launching uvicorn through VS Code, you can attach the debugger to an already running uvicorn process. In launch.json, change request, launch to request, attach. You'll also need to specify the process ID, $command pick process, and possibly the port. This is useful if you're running uvicorn in a separate terminal. Remote debugging. If your fastapi application is running on a remote server, you can set up remote debugging using VS Code. This requires installing the debugp package on the remote server and configuring VS Code to connect to the remote debugger. This is a more complex setup, but it's essential for debugging applications running in production or staging environments. Refer to the VS Code documentation and the debugp documentation for detailed instructions. 6. Troubleshooting. No Python interpreter selected error. If you see this error, VS Code cannot find the Python interpreter to use for debugging. Click on the Python interpreter indicator in the VS Code status bar, usually at the bottom, and select the correct interpreter. You might need to activate the virtual environment where your fastapi dependencies are installed. Breakpoints not hitting make sure the breakpoint is set on an executable line of code. Verify that the args in your launch.json configuration are correct. Ensure that the code you're debugging is actually being executed by the running process. If you're using the -reload option in uvicorn, sometimes changes aren't picked up immediately. Try restarting the debugger. Debugger not connecting double check that the uvicorn server is running on the host and port specified in your launch.json configuration. If you're using attach mode, make sure you've selected the correct process ID. Firewall issues can sometimes prevent the debugger from connecting. 7. Best practices. Use virtual environments. Always use virtual environments, example Venv, Conda, to isolate your project's dependencies. Start simple. Begin by debugging a small, isolated part of your application. Once you've verified that the debugger is working correctly, you can gradually add more complexity. Write unit tests. Writing unit tests is a great way to catch bugs early and make debugging easier. Log effectively. Use the logging module to add informative log messages to your code. This can help you trace the execution flow and identify potential problems. Use a debugger-friendly coding style. Avoid overly complex expressions or deeply nested code structures, as they can be difficult to debug. By following these steps and techniques, you'll be well equipped to debug your fastapi applications effectively using VS Code, saving you time and frustration. Good luck.